Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Banquet of the Golden Witch. I forgot to turn on my mic, apparently. I don't know how, but that's okay. This episode is a good one. It's one of my favorites. So let's dive right in. That all my technical nonsense is done and over with. Yeah. Episode 3, Banquet of the Golden Witch. Good morning. I'm quite surprised to see you still haven't surrendered. The Golden Witch has extremely high hopes for you. Have you figured out the structure of this world by now? You have no chance at victory unless you know the rules. Please enjoy your game with the witch to your heart's content. The difficulty level is equal for both you and the witch. So, prime self-sabotage, absolutely. And let me give you the usual content warning. So, child abuse, character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, misogyny, and some awkward skeeviness because our protagonist is a teenage boy. In the 80s. I'm gonna dive right in. The vase was very beautiful, rich with history and value. Even as young as I was, it still forced me to take a deep breath when I witnessed its beauty. Of course, it was a member of Grandfather's favorite collection. So that I didn't accidentally destroy its fragile beauty, I was always given strict orders never to touch it. But that just made me want to touch it. It looked light, and yet so elegant that just glancing at it gave it an indescribable sense of dignity. I wanted to see what it felt like to touch a vase like that. However, just as Grandfather had said, it was a thing that shouldn't be touched. Something this beautiful should never be touched. Such beauty can only dwell in something so easily broken. Because of that, just the brush of a finger by someone like me would. Just like how a fun dream disappears with a poof when you wake up, it disappeared, fell, and broke into pieces. I realized that because of my own foolish curiosity, I had done something that couldn't be taken back. No matter how much I regretted it, and no matter how much I apologized, the broken vase would not be returned to its original form. Grandfather will probably scold me, probably very harshly. I ended up breaking into tears and sobbing, frightened. As I did, I noticed something beautiful. Lightly dancing golden butterflies were coming towards me. As mysteriously glowing golden dots shone in the air, the butterflies began to gather, one at a time. Oh, it's Beatrice. Beatrice, that reliable golden witch, had arrived. The butterflies kept gathering until they formed a cloud, and then she was there. She was always there for me. Whenever I was in trouble, she'd always appear and save me. Good day to you, princess. Beatrice! Oh my. Why are you crying so? And on a day so well suited for a tea party. I broke Grandfather's precious vase. Grandfather's gonna get mad at me. I don't know what to do. I see. That is worrying. The master really treasured this particular vase, didn't he? Imagining how he'll punish you scares even me, Beatrice. Grandfather was a very frightening person. And when you failed to follow something he said even once, he would become so mad with a rage that would make even the fallen angels in hell quiver. Since I knew that down to my bones, I couldn't do anything but tremble and cry. I possess no magic that can scoop up your fallen tears, princess. But if you need magic that will prevent the master from scolding you, I might be able to manage something. Really? Yes, if you'll be gracious enough to believe in my power, princess. The power of belief is the source of magic. Miracles only appear before those of great faith. I believe. I believe in your power, Beatrice. So, please, fix this vase. Please. If that is what you want, princess, then leave it to me, Beatrice. When she extended her index finger, a golden butterfly softly landed there and changed its form into her favorite cane. But even that was enough to give me a small glimpse at Beatrice's wonderful and awesome magic power. She pointed her cane at the broken vase, and just like a child's lullaby, she began speaking the magic words. Come, try closing your eyes, and try to remember. What form did you have? It was surely a very, very beautiful form. Please, show me that form one more time. Were they words, or was it a song? No, it had to be magic. After all, can't you see? The pieces of the vase are rapidly gathering together, gently returning to the place where they'd been on display, reassembling into their original form. Incredible. See? Now it's back to normal. This way, you won't have to get yelled at by the master. Beatrice, you really are amazing. You can fix broken vases like it's nothing. That's not true. Returning something broken to its original form is a very, very difficult thing to do. My magic can only make it remember what it once was for a short time. But the vase really turned back to the way it was, right? Alright, Lulu, thank you for lurking. I hope the adulting goes well. Correct. But that doesn't mean the vase has avoided its fate of being broken. All I did was temporarily get the broken vase to remember its form before it broke. I have not yet attained the high levels of magical power that might be used to restore a broken fate to its original form. At that time, the high-pitched scream of a servant could be heard from inside the mansion. When I went to see what had happened, I noticed that several of the servants had gathered and were cleaning up the remains of the broken vase. From what they said, it seemed a black cat had sneaked in from somewhere and had climbed up on the vase, causing it to break. I understood the meaning of Beatrice's words. At the moment I broke the vase was broken. Beatrice let me see the vase being restored, but that was a temporary thing. It didn't mean she'd changed the fate of the vase being broken. And so, the vase remembered its true fate and broke. However, the one who broke it wasn't me, but a cat that had snuck in. That's right. Beatrice never said, "Let's fix the vase." She said she'd prevent the master from scolding me. The fate of the vase breaking hasn't changed, but the fact that I broke it certainly has. Beatrice cleverly saved me from danger with that magic. It is very easy to break something. After all, you didn't need magic to break that vase, princess. Then, is fixing stuff really hard? It is. It's so hard that you broke down crying, unsure of what to do. Does that mean magic is easier to use when doing terrifying things? That breaking and killing is really easy, but fixing and reviving things is really hard? That's right. With magic, it is far easier to break and kill. That's why weak witches lose to temptation and become intoxicated with gathering easy power for themselves, neglecting their true magical training. Real magic is the power to repair, to revive, to summon happiness that has disappeared, to summon love that has grown cold. And it can even summon a smile to the face of a princess who has forgotten how. Then, Beatrice, since you did manage to fix that vase, does that mean you're an incredible witch? My days of training are far from over. After all, I couldn't make the vase forget its fate for even an hour. I'm sure my teacher, who taught me magic, would have been able to restore the vase to its original form forever. So, if it kept breaking and breaking, she'd be able to fix it over and over again? Yes. When one reaches that level, they are considered to be an endless witch. That is the endless level that all witches ought to reach. We offer the utmost respect to those witches and call them by that title. An endless witch. That's right. To witches with the power to mend things endlessly, the concept of breaking doesn't even exist. They are released from all the sadness caused by losing things and are promised eternal bliss. Certainly, the human world is full of sadness caused by separation and loss. To escape that sadness, people pray to gods and ask for the power to withstand their sadness, believing it to be a test. In other words, a human's life is a journey, searching for a way to withstand sadness. In that case, a witch who could revive all things would be freed from all sadness in the world. Simply put, that would mean eternal bliss. I wonder if I could become a witch like you and gain eternal happiness. You, princess? It is a long, long, difficult path, you see. I want to become a witch. I want to find happiness. Beatrice, I want to become your disciple. Do you have even a trace of doubt in that feeling? No. I want to become a witch too. I understand. Then, until you get tired of me, I will make you my disciple. Will you call me teacher? Yes, teacher. That's a good answer. Then from now on, learn the depths of magic along with me. I am also in training. Let us both learn the proper use of magic, doing our best to reach that blissful level. Yes, teacher. You didn't come to have a field trip, yet on a field trip we are. That one. Yeah, that hurts, but it's very true. Perfect time for a drink. A dream. That face takes me back. An endless witch, was it? That rank I'd yearned for in the past as the highest possible achievement was now just another one of my titles. No, you might even call it my calling card. Oh, I love this song. Every once in a while, being called that can be quite satisfying. I trained so many days to achieve that rank. It'd be a bit of a waste if I never got the chance to appreciate it. She shook her head lightly. If it's the highest possible level, that means there's nothing higher. An eternal dead end, the beginning of eternal boredom. I remember what teacher told me. When one is released from all sadness, it is the same as eternal bliss. That's what makes me think. That teacher couldn't have ever reached that level. Eternal bliss means eternal boredom. And that's the beginning of eternal torture. But it all depends on how you look at it. Eternal boredom is the same as a sketchbook that doesn't run out of pages. It means you can draw whatever you want, can try to have as much fun as you want. Boredom is the worst sort of poison, which kills all witches. Even those great witches who are given the title Lady fear it. It's the eternal poison that tortures them because of the eternal bliss they've reached. Now that I've reached that I've earned the name of Endless Witch, I truly wish I could speak with Teacher again. Is happiness really what lay at the end of our training? And just what is happiness? I wish I could talk with her about that now. Training has no end. When you think you've reached the eternal level, that's exactly the time to bemoan your own immaturity. I recall those words as though she'd answered me directly. I see. So, I'm immature, am I? How amusing. How truly amusing. The sound of painfully shrill laughter rang out. It was coming from my furniture. What, did they break their toy again? Beatrice-sama, this guy stopped moving again. And I haven't had nearly enough fun yet. What a pathetic man. But I haven't gotten a chance to play at all yet. Let me play. Let me play. Be silent, filth. If you keep devouring him like starving dogs, of course he'll keep breaking right away. No matter how well Beatrice-sama fixes him up. You broke him the most, Satane. You just don't know what holding back means. My apologies, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive my stupid little sisters. Fix him quickly. I'm next. I'm next. There's so many voices. Must you keep up with that infernal racket? Eep. Oh no, I'm sorry, Lulu. A single yell was all it took to make the noisy sisters of the Seven Stakes vanish. All they do is mess around, having as much fun as they want, breaking him. They only come to me to clean up afterwards. Truly, this furniture never leaves me bored. So, in case you haven't been counting, that's 7 more characters for me to voice. Oops. Once the furniture hid themselves, all that remained was a sloppy mess, the last remnants of a broken toy. It had no form anymore. It's hard even for me to remember its original form in this state. Better to make it remember for itself, perhaps. Oh well. I waved my golden pipe. Then I spoke. I chanted. I made it remember. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? After all, right now you pretty much look like a huge lump of scrap meat. I have no idea which part is your arm and which is your leg. Unless you remember, I won't even be able to recall your face. By the power of magic, the pitiful pieces of meat began to remember what their form had been. Which part should go with which part, and where should join with where? Wait, that's a sentence. That's right, just like that. No, you should be a finger on the left hand. That's the right hand. That's it. Good. Good morning. Have you woken up, Ishiramiya Batmar? How ironic that your true nightmare begins after you awaken. Ow. If you would just accept that I am a witch, you'll quickly wake up from this nightmare and I'll send you to heaven. I'm the king of Mount Purgatory. There's no escape from this hell without my approval. You call this hell? That's just useless. It's all useless. I'm impressed you can still talk like that. After experiencing the pain of death not once, like any normal human, but more times than I could count with all of my fingers. This is why I never get bored. Thank you, Lulu. I'm glad you like it. I never get bored of you. Yeah, no boredom problem here. After all, I get my pick of those massive tit Nechans with the dazzling asses in my harem. God damn it, Battler. Every time. Thanks to that, I'm not likely to get bored for a while now. They're murdering you. Unbelievable. That's splendid. Otherwise I would get bored too. So, my furniture. I fixed him so you can play as much as you want. Thank you very much. All mine. I told you, your turn's over. I'm next. Get away from him. Wonderful, isn't it, Battler-kun? Look how popular you are. Popular guys have it rough. Get in line, freaks. If you just stayed obedient instead of acting tough, this would go much easier. Nah, he's good like this. His screams feel so much better. Okay, let's not break him so quickly this time. Did you all hear me? You aren't running this show. Battler-kun, let's continue where we left off, okay? After they locked Jessica-chan's room with the master key, how did they return the key to the corpse's pocket, which was inside the room? Well, maybe... that's it, they used a fishing line or something, sending just the key into the room through the crack of the door. Wrong. So naive. Of all of the doors that exist on the Rokonjima, none has a crack through which a key can slip. He was wrong, right? Right? Okay, this time it's me. My turn. Where should I strike? Me, back of the hand. No fair. Okay, then I've got the back of his other hand. I'll take the tip of his nose. Why? Why? Let me do it too. Let me strike too. Don't be so slow. Leviane. We've always done first come, first serve. Alright, I'll take the top of his foot. Wah, me too, me too. I'll take his shoulder, okay? Your sisters, right? Play nice with each other, okay? I can't believe you're still resisting. Why haven't you realized that your false courage actually gets us fired up? Sorry, but false courage and being stubborn are my specialties. He's not wrong. No matter how you all try to confuse the issues, I definitely won't accept witches and magic. Even though you can't explain anything with human tricks. Are you stupid? Know your place. It's okay. I'm gonna have to force him to accept it. Soon he'll want to accept it so hard he'll start crying. Even now, he really wants to kneel down on the ground pitifully and beg our forgiveness. Yeah, it's a lot, I know. Oh, he's broken already. Beatrice-sama. Oh well. Since they know I can revive him over and over, my furniture won't even hesitate to break him. Good grief. Giving eternal rebirth and eternal death at will. Before the endless witch Beatrice, all death on life has no meaning. Even death can't become the key to escape from my cage. Yeah, he's kind of into it and it's a little weird. Come, battler. Remember your original form again. I'll toy with you to my heart's content, understand? I see. I see. How truly pleasant to have a toy to play with for all eternity. Could this be the endless bliss which is gained at the endless level? That was a rough sentence, dang. I see, I see. Yes, this bliss certainly is amusing. I'll revive you over and over, kill you over and over. Let's see, what kind of murder play will unfold on the next game board? Come, bring it in. Let the next game begin. You should have me a battler. Let's go. I love this song. Dang. Too bad Aniki hates cigarettes so much. Sorry. She's been pretty grumpy since last night. Please don't hold it against her. Rudolph and Hideyoshi went out onto the deck and took out some cigarettes. Ava had always hated the smell of cigarettes, but when she was in a bad mood, she got even more sensitive to them. When they decided to smoke casually until they reached the island, the two of them had gotten yelled at and chased out onto the deck. Hideyoshi tried to use his lighter, but the strong winds gave him some trouble. Rudolph took out a Zippo with a smooth gesture and let Hideyoshi borrow the flame. When did you start smoking cigarettes, Hideyoshi-Nisan? Just after the war. In the beginning, I was rolling them. Then I started using what I sold. So, you were already smoking when you met Aniki? Bet she's always telling you to stop. I never listened to her, so she's already completely given up on that. Men gotta be stubborn in times like these. Hideyoshi laughed heartily, but Rudolph snickered. After being scolded by Ava, they'd escaped to the deck together with their tails between their legs. There was little doubt who had gotten her way in that exchange. There are children on this boat? Just saying. She isn't usually so short-tempered. In fact, she's usually a more gentle, quiet woman. Every year, she changes when this day comes. Is that so? To me, she looks just like the Aniki we've all known so long. That's just it. She's back to being Ava of the Ujiramiya family. But that ain't the Ava I know. Well, I know why she's grumpy. This family conference is gonna be a pain. Got that right. There's that plan to threaten money out of Kraus-Nissan. I mean, may call it a family conference, but It's gonna be just a sibling fight at this rate. Before the family conference, 3 of the siblings had made a secret pact without Kraus. They were all facing urgent situations and needed a lot of money fast. And the only one they could turn to was Kraus, who spoke for the Ushiramiya head now that Kinzo spent his time shut up in his study. For a long time now, they'd vaguely sensed that Kraus was taking advantage of the fact that Kinzo had lost interest in his own wealth. And they suspected that he'd started embezzling that wealth to suit his own purposes. Despite being disgusted by this, they turned a blind eye to it while everything was still going smoothly for them. But now that they needed money, they really couldn't afford to let it slide. Ava had asked Rudolf and Rosa to form an alliance, and they were now scheming to take that money away from Kraus. Rudolf-kun, both you and I are company presidents. We're responsible for the livelihood of our employees. Rosa's the president too. Well, as a hobby. That's right, sorry. Basically, we've all got responsibilities. Now that I've thrown down the gauntlet in front of the executive board, I've got to bring in the money, even if it means getting down on my knees and drinking mud. Same here. I can't betray the employees who've trusted me and followed me for so long. That's why I need to get some money out of Kraus Nissan, even if I have to grab him by the neck. Aniki and Aniki have always been at each other's throats, and now she's got to challenge Aniki head on. It's no wonder she's on edge. So, Ava's really had a bad relationship with the Kraus Nissan since long ago? Hasn't she talked about it? They were always at each other's throats. She never talks about the past, even if I ask. She probably doesn't want to remember. She's always been brainy and shrewd. Her grades were good too. Compared to that, Aniki was just average. The simple fact she existed would have been pressure enough, but she kept boasting about it and driving him into a corner. That fool. Why drive him into a corner so openly? I'd hardly call that shrewd. No kidding. Aniki regretted being born a woman. So she probably couldn't forgive Aniki since he was chosen to succeed the head just because he was a man. She'd always boast to Dad, letting him see that she was better at every little thing. Father really is an old-fashioned person. Gender discrimination was part of his system of values. I'll bet Ava's eagerness to prove herself made him dislike her a bit. Wouldn't you say schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? The taste is dull and flat without it, but too much ruins the whole thing. Excuse me? Holy sh... Wow. 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 Seriously? No. What Kraus just said, don't worry. Like, too much education ruins it. Like, I mean, holy shit. Okay, I'll get through it. Since you can still drink black tea without sugar, he was in effect saying that there is no need for women to study. My avatar is smiling, but I'm in pain. Those infuriating words were what Nissan hurled at me in my despair. When I asked to go to college, only to be denied by father. I mean, yeah, I guess you can't really expect more, but wow. I protested that I needed to build up proper dignity and an education as the oldest daughter in the Ushiramiya family, making college an essential next step. But when it came down to it, Father's and Nissan's answers were exactly the same. How conceited for a woman. I've never taken the Ushinomiya name lightly, not once since I was born into it. And I've been even more careful not to take my father's name, Ushinomiya Kinzo, lightly. Our family is an old one, with many traditions, but it lost its wealth and businesses in the Great Kanto earthquake, pushing it to the brink at one point. That was when Father took control with his ingenious talent, reviving it to be even greater than it had been before. Not once did I forget that I was the daughter of that great Ushinomiya Kinzo. That's why I always made every effort to become worthy of that name. I needed dignity worthy of the Ushinomiya family, schooling, manners, and leadership. Even if I couldn't quite reach Father's level, I deepened my knowledge in economics and finance, trying to improve myself so I could be of use to him at any time. However, in the end, Father never acknowledged my efforts. To Father, a woman was only meant to support a man, and nothing further than that was permissible. When was it that I came to understand that? It may have been as early as my childhood years, but I was going to have to wait until I grew up before I could truly accept it. Compared to me, you couldn't have said that Kraus, my older brother of 2 years, worked hard at all to become deserving of the Ushinomiya family name. He told me many times since my early childhood that he would naturally succeed Father, simply because he was born a man. He kept on repeating that, as though it formed an uncrossable gap between us. I couldn't stand it. Even though I always got better grades than Nissan, even though I became class president when he never managed more than vice president, even so, Nissan was considered to be the appropriate successor to the Ushinomiya family just because he was a man. Of course, you could find gender discrimination everywhere in those days. No, it was even considered a virtue in that era. During that despicable time, people said that when a woman is born, she obeys her parents. When she gets married, she obeys her husband. And when she gets old, she obeys her children. But that was exactly why I wanted to turn that on its head. Innocently, I kept trying to prove that I was the most fit. However, I eventually realized that all of my efforts had been doomed from the beginning. Here he goes again. I'm pissed too. Wouldn't you say schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? The taste is dull and flat without it, but too much ruins the whole thing. What do you mean by that, Nissan? Just as there are roles that only men can fill, there are also roles that can only be filled by women, correct? I do believe giving birth to children, raising them, and supporting the master of the house are roles that can only be filled by women. Are you trying to say there's no need for a woman to work or study? I wouldn't go that far. Talking to an unschooled woman is tiring and nothing more. However, women are even more tiring when they're too smart. I do believe that a woman as violently assertive as you would bring no end of hardship to her future husband. I forgot just how intensely unpleasant some of the scenes in this episode are. I'm gonna need a lot of extra breaks for this one, probably. God, ugh, I wanna punch this man several times. Are you trying to say that a woman has to marry and hide in the shadow of her husband? That's none of your business. Though you're my younger sister, I can look up to you for the respect you hold for Father and your desire to become a daughter worthy of him. Even I am capable of feeling respect for such noble sentiments. That's just disgusting. What's this about noble sentiments? I'd call that flowery prose coming from you. Are you pretending to be the head already? The decision that I should succeed the headship has been established from the very beginning. And yet, you seem to be laboring on the illusion that you might become the head. Hence the useless and reckless efforts you've expended thus far. Reckless efforts? Is it really that bizarre for me to say that I want to go to college? Yes, it is bizarre. You undoubtedly are the oldest daughter of the glorious Ushinomiya family. One day, you will support that family crest by being wed to the partner most valuable for father. However, excessive learning is not what's being asked of you. What you need are gentle feelings that will allow you to care for your husband, the ability to handle housework, and a humble demeanor that will reflect well on the master of your household. These are all skills you lack utterly. In the end, can you really call yourself a suitable daughter of the Ushinomiya family? Excessive learning, I know. Ugh. I have no intention of being some secluded lady. I just want to become the person most capable of assisting father at his work. And shouldn't you do so in a manner befitting an Ushinomiya family daughter? What is it with you? You're still mannish even at your age, and you've never learned how to wear makeup in a way that will please men, much less how to cook and do housework. I hear you've even been learning how to brawl. That's rude. The martial arts aren't brawling, they're a perfect way to train and discipline the mind. And, when it's needed, I take more than enough care to act as a woman should. What are you trying to say? That women should be slaves who work for men, so I mustn't be so forward? It isn't elegant to say it out loud, but I think a few unpleasant words are necessary in order to correct your mistake. So let me say it plainly. Women exist to serve men, and men exist to provide for women. A woman's job is to protect a man's back, to protect his house, and raise his children. Most women realize this without being told. They realize it on their own. But even after all these years, you still haven't realized that about yourself. So I've decided to clear away that misunderstanding for you before you leave this family. You ought to thank me. This is an insult to all women. No, wait, I have never thought of myself as a woman, and I've never depended on anyone because I'm a woman. How am I inferior to you, Nissan? In grades and accomplishments, in everything I'm better. So how can you look down on me when you have nothing I lack, except for the fact that you're a man? I hate people who think this way, I really, really do. It's about knowing one's place. Every day I have been raised with the readiness of one who will become the head. In the future, that preparation will surely become essential. But you are different. Even though you will marry and lose the Ushinomiya family name, you are being trapped by this unnecessary illusion. What's your complaint? Even if you had been born a man, the successor to the headship still probably wouldn't have been you. Why are you so unsatisfied that you insist on attacking me even now? What's my complaint, you say? Nissan, you're always like that. Looking down on me because you'll succeed the head? Even though... What's my complaint, you say? I've got a billion of them. Grudges, hard feelings, humiliations that I'll never forget kept flowing through the back of my mind. They all built up at the same time, coming out of my throat as a shameful moan. What's all this noise? God isn't the only one who holds silence as a virtue. Father? Father! He'd probably overheard our sibling fight. Father entered with a clearly unhappy face. Kraus, are you fighting with your siblings again? Why don't you have the dignity to act as a leader for your brother and sisters? How shameful. I'm embarrassed to hear this from my eldest son. In a flash, he struck Kraus's face. I readied myself to be struck in the same way, but I wasn't hit. My apologies, Father. Dignity isn't the only thing you lack. There's much more. You're immature in everything. And even so, you pretend like you're an adult. Realize that it's 100 years too early for you to talk like that and devote yourself to your studies. Don't make me lament my son's incompetence anymore. Yes, I will continue to strive so that I can become a person worthy of succeeding you, Father. It was as if those words were directed at me. Even when he was being yelled at by Father, he was still bragging to me about how he was special. About how he was the successor. I just couldn't stand it and finally spoke what was on my mind. Even though I realized that it would be improper for a member of the Ushinomiya family to do such a thing. Father, please tell me how I'm inferior to him. I've tried so hard, studied so hard to become a person who won't bring shame to your name. Please tell me how I'm inferior. How can I improve myself enough to earn your acknowledgement? That again? How many times do I have to say it before you'll understand? I expect nothing from you. Women should be women and just learn to how to cook and sew. You aren't prepared at all as a woman. In you, I don't see a trace of the mindset needed to serve one's husband, to earnestly devote oneself to a man's needs. What good are you as a woman? Don't you realize that you're a daughter of the Ushinomiya family? And yet, you only want to learn things so that you can act like a man? Your duty is not to imitate Kraus. Don't you even understand your own duty? As a member of the Ushinomiya family, I won't bring shame to your name. That's it. That's where you're already wrong. Your duty is to marry out of the family and bring me a man who is profitable to me. And then you will devote yourself to your husband, give birth to children and multiply. Be a good wife who brings praise to your husband's family. Just what is it that you can do to please a man? Do you think you can make tea? Do you have any talent in cooking? You have nothing. All you've done is to try and mimic Kraus, haven't you? Kraus will succeed the Ushinomiya family. If you are unsatisfied with that, then you are disobeying me. Are you saying you'll refuse to listen to what I say even though you're my daughter? Get out. You're disinherited. I won't let you call yourself an Ushinomiya. Disinherited, disinherited. Father, hang in there. Please calm down. Genji-san, could you bring some water? I mean, sell your freaking daughter already? That's the plan. That's basically his plan. Yep. That's all there were. Okay. No, I'm mad too. It's fine. I'm glad it's not just me, to be honest. Yes. Immediately. Ava, leave this place. He doesn't mean what he says. I will calm him down. Disinherited. If you won't listen to me, you're disinherited. Father was coughing pretty badly, and Nissan patted his back, as if it was a duty that was naturally his. It was so vexing for me to let him take that duty all for himself right then. If I carelessly approached Father at that moment, then I would probably be the one to get hit next. However, I fearlessly tried to approach Father's back. Genji blocked me. Eva-sama, perhaps it would be better if you stepped outside for now. The master is not in a good mood today. But... Why are my children so incompetent? Kraus is lacking in dignity. Ava is always a stubborn tomboy. I have no son who's like a man, and not even a daughter who's like a woman. Where did I go wrong raising them? Why, Genji? When and where did I go wrong? Master, you haven't done anything wrong. Your children are just trans. Sorry. I'm not sorry. That was funny. And I get to say that. I get to make jokes like that. Kraus-sama has grown into a sturdy son, and Eva-sama into a lovely daughter. You haven't made any mistakes. It's just that trans people exist. How can you say that? What's so lovely about her? Far from a lady, she's always acting like a man. Disinherited. Disinherited. More coughing. Father, that's just what I'm always telling Ava. Ava has promised that she will have a change of heart and act like a lady. Couldn't you postpone that decision for just a little longer? Who's a lady? Disinherited. Disinherited. Go quickly and leave this to me. Kraus gave me a look telling me that. The most annoying part, aside from all the misogyny and all the gender bullshit, that I very much do not vibe with, is that they keep telling her to learn to sew and cook, and if she marries into a wealthy family, they're gonna have servants. They're gonna have a lot of servants. She's not gonna sew a goddamn thing in her life. Even if she does exactly what they tell her, she's not gonna need to sew ever. She's not gonna need to cook a single goddamn meal ever. It's literally just sit on your ass and be quiet. Like, just stand in a corner and look pretty. I get goddamn. Anyway, their logic doesn't have logic. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Okay, deep breath. We're good. It's just annoying. Yeah, we are ready to throw down, but you know the drill by now, right? This is gonna loop again, and they're all gonna die. Probably. Maybe not. Who knows? I know. You don't know yet. Okay. Yeah, I really needed to, like, just make a really bad joke. No, it was funny. It was a funny joke. I needed to make that joke in the middle of that because I was just getting a little annoyed. So, you know, just gotta throw in some levity now and then. Thank you for appreciating it. Did I take the wrong path, just like Father and Nissan said? True, I never studied how to be a lady. Me neither, girl. Everything I've learned was done in the hopes that I could help Father someday. But, is that really true? Haven't I always been trying to compete with Nissan, with whom I've had a bad relationship since I was a young girl? Because I wanted to steal his position as successor and show him a thing or two? Every chance he gets, Nissan tells me that men should be manly, and women should be womanly. I've been tormented by this unfair discrimination just because of my gender, something people are born with and can't do anything about. Ava, I have some news for you. Give it a few years, but... well, I mean, trans people have existed for forever. So it's not even that new, but man, if only you knew. I resisted, endeavoring to this very day to study and prove that I'm not inferior despite being a woman. That's valid too. One sec. I had to cough really hard. Probably from all the coughing, the fake coughing I had to do with Kinzo. Okay. But doesn't that mean my love of learning comes entirely from a stupid complex I've got against Nissan? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you understand. You get it, Lulu. You get it. Father wanted me to become a lady with whom he could go out in public and not be embarrassed. Did I betray his hopes, earning good grades and threatening Nissan just to satisfy a childhood resentment? That's not it. You swore to me, saying I will become the successor to the Ushiramiya family. You. The one whispering to me was the me of my years as a young girl, born inside my heart on the day I made that oath. That's right. She was my only ally. When things got difficult, when I felt like I was about to get crushed by it all, she would always quietly appear and support me. When I ran into roadblocks and despaired, she would always appear and support me. When I grew up and the memories of my childhood years faded, I also started to forget my conversations with her. I, Ushiramiya Eva, will definitely become the head of the Ushiramiya family, and I'll triumph over that irritating, arrogant Kraus. On that day, we promised to do our best together to achieve that. That's right, we promised. On that day, I promised that I would become the successor to the Ushiramiya headship. On that day, when I had been overcome with sadness, wondering why I was even alive, you appeared from inside me and lent me your strength. Father didn't accept me. I wanted to teach Nissan a lesson. I won't believe that doing this would let me say goodbye to the wretched creature I once was. For a time, I truly believed that my life had no purpose other than to be looked down upon by Nissan. It's painful just remembering those days. They're a wound, a crack inside my heart. She taught me how to sew up that wound. I turned my anger into effort and improved myself, trying to become a person more worthy of the headship than Kraus was, trying to triumph over him by making Father accept me. It was my perfect revenge. I was vaguely aware that a woman couldn't possibly become the family head, but I thought that maybe, if I could prove myself valuable enough to overturn that premise, then surely even Father would select me to be his successor. If that happened, then I'd be able to have the greatest and most perfect revenge against Nissan, who always acted like his succession to the headship was completely inevitable. That's right. If we can manage that, the wounds in our heart will be healed. We promised each other to do our best until that day comes. And now you're saying you're gonna break that promise? Scum. Coward. If only you just give up and die. Even though she looked like me as a kid, she was still another me. Her tongue was sharp because it was mine. It makes me pretty mad hearing that, even for myself. You have no right to speak of me like that. Then let's use that anger to fuel our learning. Changing anger into power is my magic. I've saved you from a bunch of tight spots with that power, letting you succeed when you shouldn't have. As long as you have my magic, there's nothing you can't do. That's right. Anger has always been my driving force. I wonder when it was I forgot that. If you can remember me again, that magic will become ours once more. Come on, let's turn that anger into power and study even harder, okay? I know we've still got a lot to learn. Let's go to college, study more and more, get excellent grades, and drive Kraus into a corner. That guy acts like we're nothing, but I'm sure he feels pretty well cornered on the inside. If only he'd just learn in this place and die. If he did, we could become the head. Rudolph won't take the job. That kid can't go against us. Stop that. No matter how much more I study, Father still won't accept me. Why not? Father told me to be womanly. Because I'm a woman, no matter how hard I tried, Father wouldn't have passed the headship on to me, even if I had been born before Nissan. No matter how much effort I put in, I can't become anything more than a woman. I won't be acknowledged. Nissan doesn't try at all, but I can't surpass him. He'll look down on me forever. Father and Kraus are the worst kind of male supremacist. If only they just die. She cursed them for my sake. Words that I couldn't say so easily, she said for me. Even though I understand that she's just another part of myself inside of me, I feel like she's the only ally I have who can sympathize with me. However, while sympathy might do a lot to calm my heart, it won't do anything to improve my current situation. In the end, she can only console me for however long it takes me to be dejected by reality, before I finally accept it. Thank you. You've done enough. Now that it's come to this, I'll become such a good lady that it'll shock even Father. I'll find an excellent man that Nissan can't even compare to. You can't do that. She rejected my timid thoughts. I understand. Because she is me, I understand. All Father said was that he won't let a woman succeed the headship now. But even that's just a rule Father made up. Since he made it, he can get rid of it. Human feelings can change far more often than the number of sand grains on the beach. Kraus is such a stupid man that Father's eventually going to realize it, even if we don't prove it for him. When that happens, the wall that separates man from woman will be demolished by Father himself, who set it up in the first place. That day will surely come. How can you be so sure? Because that's my magic. If you just believe, this magic will surely summon a miracle. The basis of my magic is nothing more than your believing heart. If I use this magic, then surely I'll never have to doubt until the day I die that I'll eventually become the head. But I don't know if that's the right thing for Ushiromiya Eva. Maybe I should aim to become the kind of lady Father wants, someone who can proudly participate in high society. And if I'm reborn, maybe Father will change his opinion of me. Maybe I can find my own lifestyle just as Nissan has found his. And anyway, I just can't imagine my stubborn father choosing a woman like me as the head. Especially if it means skipping over Kraus. You don't believe? I was just thinking. Maybe I can't succeed the headship, but as a woman I can have a child, and Nissan still isn't engaged. If Nissan isn't able to father a child and I gave birth to one, then wouldn't that make my child the next head after Nissan? In other words, wouldn't that mean the same thing as stealing the headship from Nissan? Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. True, it'll be very sad to abandon the resolve I've had since childhood. It pains my heart to betray you, my younger self. But this is my most realistic option. Are you throwing away your dreams? And me as well? I'm not throwing anything away. I'm an adult, and the day has come for me to part ways with you. That's right. Ava's already become an adult. She's even forgotten how to use magic. And now she's the mother of a single child. She forgot all about how magic can grant one's own dreams, and now she's forcing those dreams onto her son. Even though Father and Kraus ruined your life, you're trying to push your dreams onto your son, ruining his life. Is that what you call being an adult? George is a son I'm proud of, one who won't embarrass himself no matter where he goes. The dream I wasn't granted might come true for George. Jessica's a delinquent in both her grades and her behavior. And she's a woman. If only Jessica would step down, George would become the heir. Even saying it was painful. Am I just forcing my own regrets onto George? It's not like I have any right to look on Jessica with scorn. Wasn't I just horrible for hitting her with the same words that caused me so much suffering? I understand. I understand. The desire to triumph over my brother is part of my own personal revenge. I can't use George for that. So I'll take revenge myself. I have a plan to cheat Nissan out of some of his money. with Rudolph and Rosa as my allies. I'll surely be able to get back at him. In any case, I'm sure that Nissan is embezzling Father's assets. What a boring plan. Why don't you just give up on that and cry yourself to sleep? We will become the Ushiromiya family head. Don't mistake what your dream is. And believe me when I say it'll definitely come true. Believe in my magic. If I believe, I wonder if any power will dwell in that magic. It will. My magic can grant any wish with certainty. I'll believe. So create a miracle with that magic. If you don't, the hole in my heart will never heal. Okay, then listen well. Listen to my magic words, and understand. If we can solve the riddle, we can become the Ushiromiya family head. So lend me your ears and listen carefully. Behold the sweet fish river running through our beloved hometown. You seek the Golden Land. Follow its path downstream in search of the key. Eva-ne-san, it looks like we're about to arrive. When Kiria shook her shoulders, Eva jumped and awoke from her doze. Blech, that sentence was very hard to say. I'm sorry. I was half asleep. Sorry to scare you. Aunt Ava, you were out cold. Did you get up early this morning? Maybe. I let you all see something embarrassing. I'm sorry. Well, I'd say it's pretty impressive you were relaxed enough to sleep. Battler kept yelling, "We're gonna fall! We're gonna drown!" Can't get bored with this guy around. Shut up! All humans have at least one thing they're weak against. Battler and Jessica came in, messing around. Rudolph also made a face as if asking, "Are you okay?" Get a hold of yourself. When you see Dad and the rest, all that sleepiness will go right out the window. Let's all give it our best, okay? That's right. We have to keep it together, especially this year. That's it. Let's all tighten our assholes and go. Rudolph said these strict words in the small voice that only Ava could hear. Failure would not be tolerated in this year's family conference. All of their companies were hanging in the balance. Even Rudolph's face looked a little tense. Ava's expression probably looked tense as well. Mom, I have our luggage. Let's go up onto the deck. Thank you. You really are considerate, George. Why are you thanking me so suddenly? It's not like you, Mother. Ava, George, we're there. Grab our luggage. Ooh, we're there. Hey, Maria, stop running or you'll trip. It seemed Maria was already getting excited. She ran circles around Hideyoshi, escaping from Rosa, who was trying to catch her. What is it, Mother? Do you feel sick? George, take our luggage and go on ahead. Your mother's probably feeling anemic, so I'll lend her a hand. Really? Okay, I'll head out first. Something odd in Ava's expression told Hideyoshi that it hadn't been a pleasant awakening, so he made George go on ahead. Rudolph's family and Rosa's family also went up onto the deck, leaving only Ava and Hideyoshi inside the boat. Ava had a vague expression on her face, as though she still hadn't been able to escape from her daydream. think this is a good place to take a quick break, because I need one. And I'm also gonna save. So, BRB. Alright, welcome back. Just gonna dive right back in. What's wrong? Why the meek face? I wonder if I'm using George as a tool for my own revenge. Oops, there's music. I wonder if my childish hostility towards Nissan has caused me to treat that child's life like a toy. What have I done? What have I... Now that isn't true. George is our wonderful son, and he'll always perform admirably wherever he goes. Ava, even if you let your own hopes get in the way a bit, everything turned out okay in the end, hasn't it? You haven't done anything wrong. In fact, George is grateful for the strict discipline you gave him, right? Really? Hey, really? George doesn't think I'm a terrible mother, does he? Does he? Does he? He hasn't said anything. He's never said anything like that. Not even once. You're just worrying too much. Hideyoshi-sama, everyone has left the boat. Oh, did you lose something? Do you need a hand? Kumasawa had come to check on them when they hadn't gone up to the deck. Hideyoshi hid Ava behind his back so that her expression wouldn't be seen. Yeah, sorry. My necktie pin just got a bit crooked. We're fine. We'll be out in a sec. Wait outside for us. Oh, is that so? Oh, then I will wait outside. Even though she didn't really understand, Kumasawa realized that something had come up, and disappeared so that she didn't trouble them further. If they stayed here any longer, they would probably make everyone else worry too. It's about time to go. We'll make George and the rest worry. George really doesn't despise me. Yeah, nothing of the sort. In fact, he's very grateful. Did you have a nightmare? Again? Yes. Hideyoshi knew that Ava was often tormented by nightmares, and they always grew more marked on the days leading up to the family conference. And yes, everyone in this family is quite fucked up. Hideyoshi knew that Ava's relationship with Kraus was still full of antagonism to the point of being traumatic, and that she still couldn't let go of the feelings she'd had as a child. That was a dream. I'm with you now. If I can grasp your hand like this, that dream will go away. Right? Look, I'm holding tight. Also, I mean, Hideyoshi, best husband. Let's be real here. Out of all the dudes. Just saying. That hurts. I take it back. Thank you. I'm fine now. Let's get off the boat. Yeah, let's get off the boat. Everyone's waiting for us. I'm sorry. Hmm? I'm sorry that I yelled at you. About the smoke from your cigarettes just now. Come on, you normally wouldn't apologize for that sort of thing. You're all frail after having that dream. Don't worry about it. I was wrong for not realizing that the smoke was affecting you. Have you started to hate me? No way, no way. If I hated you after something like that, we wouldn't have lasted 3 days. Come on, stand up, stand up. Let's get off the boat. Yeah, serious. Out of all of them, he's like one of the few who like picks up on his wife's emotions, and is like, "Oh, I can help with this." The others all like, what is this? I don't understand." And he was really like gentle and soft with her just now, and that's not the first time he's done that either. So out of all of them, he's definitely the best. I mean, there's still kind of it's complicated. Hideyoshi-sama, Eva-sama, is everything all right? Are you not feeling well? This time it was Goda. It looked like they kept everyone waiting too long after all. Even Eva had to stand up without grumbling now. She had to stop forcing her bad mood onto her husband and causing him any more trouble. Because that wasn't something a good wife would do. Is everything okay? If it's a matter concerning your health, shall I call Dr. Nanjo? Thanks, but I'm just feeling a little anemic. I'm fine now. Like I said, they're all still not great people. It's a woman's disease. Don't worry about it. Oh, is that what they're talking? That's not... You can't replace that with anemia. Anemia is a different... Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that those were like... I thought that anemia was like a really specific thing. But English isn't my first language, so what the fuck do I know, I guess. Come on. Don't say stuff like that in front of people, it's embarrassing. Maybe I am wrong. Ah, sorry. Eva elbowed Hideyoshi in the gut. Oh, that's... Yeah, I think I might be wrong then. Okay, that explains. By that time, her normal expression had returned, which allowed Hideyoshi to relax a little. So I thought anemia was like a specific thing where iron doesn't bond with your red blood cells, so you don't have enough like oxygen and you faint easily and stuff. But that might literally just be a different thing. That clears up so many things I've been confused about in the past, actually. I'm gonna Google that after we finish this episode. This stream, specifically. Sorry for the confusion. The bright sunlight outside almost made her dizzy. A small plank for getting off the boat was lowered. Goda was waiting there, smiling and ready to lend them a hand. Please, Eva-sama, your hand. Thank you. Welcome to Rokanjima. Welcome back. Huh? When she left the boat, it seemed to Eva as though she'd heard the voice of her young self. No, it hadn't seemed that way. Someone had told her, welcome back. After becoming a shameless adult, the voice of her young self was distant. What am I living for? What can I do to release myself from this obsession? Yeah, you're right, Lulu. I know this from experience. But again, they don't know trans people exist. And I'm sure there's people who... yeah. Hideyoshi heard her talking to herself. When Hideyoshi held on tightly to Eva's shoulders, his firmness alone told her that there was no need to say any more. Maybe it was because the typhoon was getting closer. The lively cries of the seagulls, which usually greeted them when they arrived, couldn't be heard at all. I mean, I'm sure they had, therapists in the 80s, right? And yeah, some of them definitely would be. Maybe not all of them, though. But yeah, it's the 80s, and... But again, therapy existed in the 80s, surely. But... maybe not. I mean, let's be real, they're rich, right? Rich people don't go to therapy. We all know this. Okay, I'm gonna be serious now. What, you mean 6 years ago? I mean, I was still in elementary school back then, right? It's pretty unfair to expect me to remember everything, don't you think? True. Especially because we were so young. We've grown a lot in these 6 years. If I hadn't been introduced, I might not even have remembered you. Really? I figured he was Battler right away. And when he opened his mouth, I was sure. Oh jeez, that was the wrong button, Sam. There we go. Ooh, I just met him for the first time. Didn't know him 6 years ago. That's right. Maria-sama was only 3 years old then. Well, same goes for me. I only knew Maria when she was 3 years old, and since she's grown so big, of course I wouldn't recognize her. After lunch, we had all gone out to the beach to walk around, talk, and take it easy. Our parents were apparently having a suspicious, complicated discussion, so we ended up leaving them behind. Well, just as I guessed from the start, the conversation focused on me since I'd been away for 6 years. Still, you've really gotten tall. I wouldn't call myself short, but your height really surprised me. That's right. I remember well what Battle-sama was like 6 years ago, but I was surprised even so. Yeah, seriously. I can hardly believe this is the same battler we knew back then. I'm surprised how much everyone remembers about it. My memory's all hazy. Yeah, I'll bet. Looks like it's taking you a while to remember us. Yeah, that hurts a bit. Come on, this was 6 years ago, right? I'm the one who has it bad, being forced to remember. Are you saying you can't remember it well because it was 6 years ago? I can remember it as clearly as if it happened yesterday. Well, your memory's great after all. You remember the kind of things Battler did and said back then pretty clearly, don't you? Come to think of it, that's right. Shannon's memory can be incredible when you'd least expect it. Ew, I'm horrible at remembering. I remember fun things, but can't remember boring things at all. Ew. We all laughed, saying that everyone was like that. You, Maria. It's not a bad thing to be. Shannon, by the way, what was Battle like 6 years ago? Remember any interesting episodes? Let's see. I'm sure that he said something like this when he left. I'll be back. See you again. I'll surely come for you riding a white horse. Ugh. Stop it! It's so embarrassing! That sounds just like something you'd say. Yeah, I remember you always used to be full of those stupid lines, Battler. It really does sound something like something Battler-kun would have said back then. Ooh, embarrassing? Is that embarrassing? Yeah, horribly embarrassing. Maria, I'm sure that when you're in middle school, you want to say embarrassing stuff like that. When that happens, make sure you write it down and read it 3 times before saying it out loud. If you don't, you'll definitely regret it. Still, everyone has to pass through that pitiful period. That's right, that's how you learn your place, learn shame, and become an adult. Yeah, it's one of those bittersweet things everyone does in adolescence as they transition to becoming adults. A memory you just want to forget. After all, this was all stuff I let slip out without thinking, so I didn't remember the words exactly. But now that those words were being recited to me, they were as embarrassing as all hell. I only recently came to understand this weakness, and was working hard to avoid such careless outbursts, but I guess I was just born with the habit of speaking without thinking, and there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, that sounds like him. Shannon, do you remember any other embarrassing stuff? Yes, well, I remember a few other things, but since it looks like the person in question wants to forget them, I think I'll refrain from saying any more. To be brutally honest, I don't remember this at all. Please don't make me remember. Ugh. Shannon's bullying Battler? Ugh, you can't. You shouldn't bully people. She isn't really bullying him. Let's leave it at that, okay? But, Shannon, you'll have to tell me all about it sometime Battler isn't around. It sounds pretty interesting. Yes, certainly. No, you can't, Shannon-chan! For a while, George Aniki laughed at me, as though warming up for when Shannon-chan would tell him about more of my embarrassing misspeaks. She really is an angel. George looked like he was flirting with Shannon, but he seemed somewhat open and frank about it. He was always that way with his cousins, but he usually took on a reserved, gentlemanly attitude when he came in contact with the servants. When I thought about it, I got the feeling he was being a bit overly friendly, which seemed strange. Maria started scribbling in the sand with a stick, and George Aniki and Shannon-chan joined in. This left me and Jessica off to the side, so I asked her secretively. Hey Jessica, is George Aniki going out with Shannon-chan? What the? How'd you guess? Paddle, you've got a keener eye for people than I thought. What? I was just kidding, but they're actually going out? Shh, your voice is too loud. It looks like they're keeping it a secret for now, okay? It'd be better if nobody found out about it, especially Aunt Ava. I see. Love with a servant, huh? Yeah, but since when? I guess a lot can happen in 6 years. But yeah, Aniki's an amazing person, and Shannon-chan seems to be kind and brave. So they might make a pretty good match. Battler's mother has passed away, and that's actually why he was away from the family for a while. Kirie is his stepmother. But we haven't seen a whole lot of her yet. She keeps dying. Actually, 6 years ago, I remember taking notice of her just a little bit. I see. She really fits well with George Aniki. Nothing I can do about that. Goodbye, my fleeting first love of 6 years ago. Which means that the collection of embarrassing lines Shannon-chan had just held back on probably had something to do with that. Ugh, I can't take it. Oh, hold on. This is like important to him as a character, right? This lady is his stepmother. But again, she dies quickly in the first 2 episodes. Even though I love her so much. How long have they been going out? That depends on what you call going out, but I think it's been at least a year. But if you count the time they both had one-sided feelings, it'd probably be several years. Before I'd realized it, the 2 of them had separated themselves from the group and were walking down the beach, talking about something. They looked calm, and rather than a light relationship between 2 lovers, it looked more like a more serious one, as though they were already engaged. 6 years ago, huh? That's a long time. What did those 6 years mean to me? I've just gotten taller. It was just a waste of time. 6 years I spent obstinately fighting with my dad. What about you, Battler? You got a girlfriend? I wonder. There's a few girls that I have fun with, but there's no only one. I guess I'm just a kid. I think it's more fun to be noisy with a large group of people than being alone with one person. That's so you, Battler. But take your relationships with your female friends seriously. When girls get wrong impressions or form a group, it can be scary, you know? They might be having secret feuds over you behind your back with people getting hurt or crying. That's so weird. I think I remember getting the same bit of advice from one of the girls in my class just last week. What's this all about? Why can't everyone just have fun together? Do people really want to couple up that much? It's probably because you've never found a partner like that, Battler. Well, you might run into someone sooner or later. You just gotta wait patiently. What? It almost sounds like you've already found a partner like that. What about you? Have you gotten a boyfriend? Me? No. Come on, that reaction's so easy to understand. From the looks of it, there's some boy you're thinking about, but you haven't been able to confess to him yet, or something like that. No, that's not, shut up, who cares about that? You're the one who brought up the subject, why are you yelling at me now? Women are creatures who always ask questions and yet almost never answer them. What cruel creatures, seriously? Really? Ugh. This is one hell of an episode. And I mean hell in a very literal sense, I am suffering. Also, hey Vape. Glad to see you're still here. And that, yes, Lulu, it could have been a girlfriend, but you know, it's the 80s. Ooh, good point. Cause it's like another, what, half hour since I left save? Yeah. Oh nice, what did you play, Vape? Well, I did try to confess once. I struck out pretty badly. Did you get an I'm sorry? No. My feelings were seriously one-sided and I didn't really know how to respond, I guess. It's like they didn't view me that way at all. Well, I can understand that. You talk like a man, after all. If you don't act a bit more graceful, you won't be able to catch a boy's interest. God damn it. Is it really... Is the way I speak... really that bad? So for a little context here, in Japanese, Jessica talks really, like, impolite, I guess is the right word. Like, really not befitting of someone, like, who belongs to a rich family. That's why they keep calling her a delinquent and stuff. Casual, yes, like, extremely casual. And that doesn't quite translate to English, because we don't have such an extreme difference in language. So that's, yeah, why this might seem like it kind of comes out of nowhere when they talk about how she speaks badly. Hmm? Well, how you talk isn't everything, but when people like you, people like you, who usually have a rough style of speech, suddenly start working hard to talk more normally. Well, there are guys out there whose heart will skip a beat when they see how determined you are. Is that really true? I see. Yeah. Jessica suddenly started talking more meekly, and her face instantly went slightly red. I see. Even though her confession didn't go well, it looks like she still hasn't given up. But still, I get it. After seeing how close George Aniki and Shannon-chan have gotten, I also kinda want to find a girlfriend. It's better to, be polite, ultimately, but I think in Jessica's case, she's, rebelling from her parents, and she feels too much pressure, so I get that. 6 years. 6 years of puberty are pretty important, and they went by pretty fast. As the typhoon approached, the clouds grew steadily grayer, but even so, I had this really refreshing feeling. Maybe I'll try thinking more seriously about the opposite sex, more than just the size of their boobs. Why are you like this? By the way, it looks like George Aniki's going out with a servant. Don't tell me it's the same for you. What? Why do you think that? Come to think of it, that kid, Kanon-kun, who greeted us in the Rose Garden, you were covering for him pretty intensely, considering he was just a little awkward at talking. No, that's not... Now you're just getting paranoid. Then tell me just one thing. Right now, is the boy you're after within 1 kilometer of this spot? About that, I wonder. Kanon-kun was the only boy on this island now who could possibly become her boyfriend. So, judging by her reaction, I was right on. I didn't think of the Ushiromiya family as a noble family, but love with a servant? I wouldn't have dreamed that 2 pairs of Romeo and Juliet would be right next to me. Aunt Ava would probably become an obstacle to George Aniki and Shannon-chan's love. If Aunt Ava ever learned that Shannon-chan was the partner of her only beloved son, she'd probably scream at her for trying to steal away her precious George. And a relationship between Jessica and Kanon-kun would probably be just as full of difficulties. Aunt Natsuhi was also very strict about that kind of thing. After all, Jessica's husband would probably become the head of the Ushiromiya family in the future. If that person had once been a servant working for the family, well, things would get complicated. Well, love is different for every person. As long as you're with someone who's fun to be around, does anything else matter? When 2 people pair up, they don't need anyone's permission, as long as they accept each other. Worrying about what your parents or family will say means you've already lost. Don't forget that. You better not go out with someone with mixed feelings. I can't believe you're saying something so philosophical sounding when you haven't even been in love. Don't treat love like a matter of profit and loss. It's about heart. That's all I have to say. Well then, see you again. Have a nice day. George Nissan, Shannon, listen. This guy, he said another one of those lines. I didn't say anything. Don't make fun of me. I heard it. See you again. For a while, we forgot that the wind was getting stronger and played around on the beach. I grew a lot these past 6 years, and being able to celebrate my youth and meet with all of my cousins was truly refreshing. It was a bit late now, but I realized that I should have gotten back together with everyone a lot sooner, and returned to the Ushiromiya family. Sure is nice to have all the cousins together every once in a while.
Ooh, I like it too. It's really fun when all the cousins get together.
That's right. We're already old enough. It's not like we couldn't meet each other when our parents aren't around. It might not be a bad thing to gather the cousins together and play every once in a while. That's a good plan. Maybe we should set up something like that the next time we get a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope your cousins can stay friends forever. Hey, if you make such a big deal of it, you almost make it sound like relatives usually end up hating each other. George, Aniki, and Jessica laughed, but it felt just a little strained. Did I say something wrong? Judging by how our parents made quiet expressions and tired faces every once in a while during the boat ride and at the airport, maybe I should have kept that to myself. You're right. It's just like Jessica said. Let's always be friends to each other.
Ooh, me too. We're all friends.
That's right. Yeah. We'll always be together. We'll always be friends. Man, we've been saying some pretty embarrassing stuff. I feel kinda awkward.
But I think it's very important. People are creatures who find it very hard to stay together, much less remain friends unless they truly desire it.
That's right. You really can't take everyone being friendly for granted. Alright. Sleep well, Vape. I hope your sleep schedule sorts itself out. Good night.
Ooh, a witch I know said it. Happiness won't be granted unless everyone believes in it.
That's true. Maybe some magic exists in the power of belief. If we all believe in that, I'm sure it will bring us happiness. Alright. Well, if we're doing embarrassing stuff already, let's all swear to believe in this together, okay? That will always be friendly. That will always be happy. Like hell we'll end up like our parents. As if we'd ever search for each other's weaknesses, going after grandfather's fortune. Okay, we'll always be friendly and happy. Let's all believe in that. No matter how much we cousins try to nostalgically have fun, dark clouds continue to approach Rokkanjima. I wonder if the typhoon will pass and let us see the clear skies before we leave this island. Who cares about what our parents are planning? Who cares about the inheritance and the honor of our old family? As youthful as we were renewing our old friendship, and we all believed together that we could find happiness. That's why. I want this pair of days to end, without anything weird happening. In peace and happiness, and calmly. No, I don't just want them to end. Please, let them end. Let them end? Damn it. Don't show up. Don't appear. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Sorry to keep you waiting. I finally prepared a new game. Come, let us begin this tale of tragedy. Come to me, winds, rain, typhoon. Cut this island off from the real world. Throw Rokkanjima into another realm, into the spirit world, into a world of fantasy. I too miss this woman. Oh my god, Lulu. And so, the tale repeated for the third time. However, to an endless witch, what did it matter whether it was the first, second, or third time? It probably didn't matter at all. After all, this was a tale of fantasy, endlessly repeating until the match was settled. Would Battler surrender first, or would the witch? Place your bets now. Then the sky grew dark and cloudy, and the rain and wind were summoned together and became a typhoon. Maria could be seen in the rose garden, paying no mind to the rain that had started falling. Going around in circles, searching for that single rose that should have been marked.
Not here. Not here. My rose that we marked isn't here. Ooh.
Maria definitely remembered it. That rose had been in the flower bed right there, and yet it wasn't anymore. She didn't know what to do with her irritation at not being able to find something that should have been there, and, moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. She was acting almost as though she'd be able to see it if she looked at a different angle, but even though she did that, there was no way to find something that wasn't there. The wind grew increasingly strong, and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way even Maria would fail to notice this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. That feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked.
Huh?
Maria raised her head. When she did, she saw an umbrella there, protecting her from the rain. And the one holding out that umbrella was the witch she admired, Beatrice.
Beatrice.
What are you doing so frantically in the middle of all this rain? You could catch a cold like this. Even witches have to care for their own health.
I can't find my rose. Ooh. No matter how many times I search, even though it should have been there, I can't find it.
Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, pitiful rose, and that she was sure they had marked it. So you can't find it. If you are a witch's apprentice, you should use magic to search for the rose. I believe that searching with just your eyes won't be nearly enough.
Ooh, I can't find it. I did my best and tried to search with magic, but I can't find it.
I think practicing your magic is a very good thing, but it might be a little too much for you with all this wind and rain. Allow me to lend you some special power. Concern for one's disciples is also one of a teacher's duties.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do. So she was sure that Beatrice would be able to find the rose easily, even though Maria couldn't. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes and spoke. All things in this world are transitory. Too bad, Maria. It seems your rose couldn't withstand all of this wind and rain.
Then my rose?
It was uprooted by the wind, and is no longer of this world. What Beatrice had said was quite reasonable. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off at the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan.
No. No. It's my rose. My rose won't come back, no. I'll bring it back to life with my magic. Beatrice, teach me how to revive a rose with magic.
It's much too early for an apprentice like you to learn the hidden art of endless magic. Know your place.
Ooh.
Maria wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled at Maria's pitiable expression. Very well. I will lend you my power, the hidden art that can revive a rose.
Really?
Indeed. Well then, concentrate the power of your heart. Close your eyes, forget the rain, forget the wind, and search for the soul of the wandering rose with the eyes of your heart.
Ugh.
Maria closed her eyes. Then she repeated Beatrice's song-like words. Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Don't look, don't listen, and believe. Release the power of your soul from the cage of flesh that imprisons it. And that's it. Good. Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, small golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria held? Lost soul of the rose, gather into one and remember your form. Come, gather, remember. The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen, and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger up to the skies, and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. Oops. This was the miracle of the golden magic. The gold butterflies began to condense into a single, dazzling grain of gold. It was a single, glittering gold seed. It rode on the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. It then slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired the magic in the witch, really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that, if she opened her eyes to look, the power that she had concentrated in her heart would be cut off, and the magic would be lost. Therefore, Beatrice, as the only one permitted to witness this golden miracle, was the only witch, the sole master of many miracles. Then, the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkle scattered, just as if a golden soap bubble had popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose. It looks like you've remembered a splendid rose. However, if we just leave it mixed in with these other roses, you won't be able to tell it apart. Shall I perform one last service? Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice who was moaning even more now in concentration, decided to use one more bit of magic. When she snapped her fingers, a single gold butterfly appeared, fluttered around, and landed on the flower that had just been revived. Then, it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and marking the rose. That will do. Maria, you may open your eyes now.
Where's the rose? It's not here. Not here.
Not over there. Over here. Look, I've marked it with golden lace.
Well, you did. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Beato. Thank you, Beato. I want to become a witch quickly, a great witch like you.
And you can. Long ago, I too wished for that innocently, just as you do, and I have attained that level. Maria was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased. By now, I can break and repair any soul if I try, not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I pleased. Come, the barrier of the storm has now sealed Rorokojima off from the natural world. Now is the time for the Golden Witch, Beatrice, to descend as an endless witch. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with the family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria. Maria frolicked around at being selected to be the witch's messenger. So, Kinzo, I've come to join in on your fun once more. My preparations are already complete. What of you? Have you prepared enough coin to bet in tonight's game? Coins, plural. My apologies. Of course I'm fully prepared, Beatrice. I've assembled a plethora of pieces. I'm ready both physically and mentally. So then, let us make the ante. All that you have given should be returned to you at the end. Come, take it. Kinzo flung the window of his study open wide, took off the valuable golden ring that had been on his finger, and threw it into the darkness of the raging wind and rain. Don't worry, he'll be gone soon. That ring was struck by lightning, and after twinkling gold for an instant, disappeared. Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly. I don't think I'll lose. You are mine. Forever. That's not how it works, bud. The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around in the wind and rain. It headed for the rose garden, almost as though it was being guided there. It then found the figure of the golden witch and fluttered it down. When it came down right in front of Beatrice, it burst open and returned to its original form, flying through the air. The way it was going, you would have expected it to fall into a puddle, but it stopped suddenly in midair. Almost as if some transparent person had caught it. Apparently, even Beatrice hadn't expected this. However, she realized who it was, and grinned broadly at it. Sorry. That was fanboying. Oh my god, I didn't realize that he appeared so. Okay. I need a sec. What am I gonna do for his voice? I was not prepared. I thought that he appeared later on. I love him. I'm just gonna do whatever. I'll work on it. It's fine. It's just, he deserves the best. Anyway. As she did, the shadow of the person who had caught the ring began to fuzzily appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform, embroidered with a one-winged eagle crest. There was no man like this among the servants of the Ushinomiya family. Even so, Beatrice laughed as though it was someone she remembered fondly. Romavi, is it? It's been quite some time. It seems you have remembered me. You were always a man who took loyalty seriously. It has been quite some time since your last correspondence. Not for a single day have I, Ronove, forgotten that I serve you, milady. I was more afraid that you'd forgotten about me. After all, you can't be quite forgetful. I see, yes, I certainly am forgetful. I'd forgotten even your sarcasm until I heard it again. Milady, take this. With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully and held out to Beatrice the head's ring that he just caught. It is the Ushiromiya family head's ring, returned to you from Ushiromiya Kinzo. It is now once again in the possession of its master. Indeed, this is Kinzo announcing the start of the game. Of course I'll accept it. So, how shall we play tonight? Shall I prepare the roulette immediately? Or shall I prepare some black tea first? I can't decide which, but first I need you to greet someone. I'm sure that guy's got his mouth hanging open and can't shut it. Right, battler? Greetings. Allow me to introduce myself. I am called Ronove, and I serve at the side of Milady Beatrice. It is truly a pleasure to meet you. See? His mouth's hanging open and he can't shut it, right? Yeah, no shit, another incomprehensible guy just showed up. First I grumble about goat-headed people doing the bone dance, and then goat heads start showing up in swarms. And since then, not only have those 7 ass Nachans appeared, but now there's even a butler? It doesn't make any sense, cut it out. By the way, Battler, did you notice? Did you realize that meeting him is a true devil's proof? A devil's proof? What do you mean? You may not look like it, but this guy is one of the 72. A genuine demon. In other words, I've brought a demon right in front of you, which truly proves that they exist. Ronove holds a noble rank in hell, the 27th highest ranked great demon. He's a pretty useful man. I summoned him at high cost and made him serve me. It is an honor to meet you. While my name is among those of the nobles of hell, I now serve as the head furniture of Beatrice-sama, who, despite being a vulgar human, is a great witch of such caliber that demons flee before her. He's a very useful man, but he's impudent with his words. Frustratingly enough, he sometimes forgets to respect his master. Nothing in my contract specifies the manner in which I am to speak. Would you like to change that contract? It keeps me entertained, so it's fine. Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. Also, yes, I will make you simp for this character. He's great. After bowing once to her back, Ronove turned back to Battler and stuck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Normally, this would mean that he was asking for a handshake. What is this supposed to be? I am another who has been subjected to my lady's whims. In that sense, I am sure we could become good friends. This is a handshake of friendship. Of course, this in no way implies your entry into a contract with the demon, so fear not. Sorry, but I'm right in the middle of a big fight with your master. I only shake hands with an enemy after we've beaten each other up in a rainy schoolyard and are all worn out, like something you'd see in a teen drama. Remember that. I see. To shake hands with you, Battler-sama, I must create a fitting atmosphere at a suitable location, exchanging sweet words and physical language with you that rings true to your heart. When the opportunity arrives, I shall arrange for such an encounter. I must say, I simply love situations like that myself. As Ronove laughed tauntingly, he whispered to Battler, bringing his face so close that their noses were almost touching. Battler, his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away. You're a creepy bastard. I see. Just right for Beata's butler. No homo though. Yeah, no, that's not... I'm not gonna get into that right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that right now. That's not why I love the character though. He's great in his own right, also. It is an honor to receive such words of praise. I'm very confident in my tea brewing abilities, so please look forward to tea time. Baking cookies is one of my hobbies, so please feel free to request any snacks you may desire. Just what I expect from a pair of the same gender. Cookie baking. You started getting along well right off the bat. I'm jealous. My. I apologize for making you jealous, milady. I shall not sneakily snatch your guest away from you. Well then, I will leave for now to retake my post as head furniture and greet my subordinates. Please forgive my short absence. Indeed. Only the common goats and the 7 sisters used for the ceremony manifested themselves. You will be able to finish greeting them in no time. Oh? Those lively 7 sisters are here. I wonder if those naughty girls have grown a little more graceful. If that's graceful, I'll have to doubt the definition of the word graceful. Is that so? Then I suppose you've already had the opportunity to play with those sisters. Judging by her expression, it would seem they're just as naughty as always. Even though I am always telling them to act more fitting as servants of Beatrice-sama. What troublesome kids. Well, that's your problem? Don't worry. They actually act perfectly fitting for their master. Now even you have begun to say it. However, a conversation means that you accept your partner. The fact that you've started to respond to my idle chatting proves that you are gradually starting to accept my existence. That's because even if the sun starts rising from the west, I will definitely, absolutely never accept that you're a witch. You might want to try a more positive approach, like crying and kissing my shoes. Even if Battler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, realizing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to attend the new game, and that preparations were complete. After Ronove exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to Battler, scattered into several gold butterflies, and disappeared. Come back. It is truly pleasing to have such a boisterous atmosphere. How boring were the days when I was trapped alone on this island, unable to regain my power and lacking anyone to talk to. I get how that unpleasant guy is really fitting as your butler. But tell me, why has that butler only appeared now? You said something about how only the goats and the Nechons of the 7 stakes had manifested themselves. What did that mean? Indeed. You still resist, but I am a fully fledged witch. I am in contact with several non-human entities in the spirit world. I'll bet. No sane people would hang out with you. First some goat monsters, then those ass Nechons. And this time, a demon butler showed up. I had to think about it, but the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if even more weird people appeared. Among the furniture that work at my great golden mansion, how many demons do you think want to come over and play? They will keep coming. Many of them will appear. She's not lying, I have to do so many voices. When the door to the Golden Land is opened, I will call back all of my furniture and build my new castle here on Rokkanjima. Then, I plan to invite all of my old friends, and we will drink and dance together for 3 days and 3 nights. Of course, I also plan to invite Kinzo's family, you see. You too, if you wish. So, is this what you mean? That since you lost your power for a long time, you couldn't summon them? And then, since your magic power has been gradually increasing, you've been able to summon more and more monsters? It is as you say. You stopped a hair's breadth before crumbling. But your heart is already wavering, and you are unable to deny that I am a witch. That wavering in your heart has been slowly restoring my power as a witch. So, are you trying to say that creepy butler appeared because I started to surrender? That's right. Bit by bit, you were surrendering to me. Isn't all that humiliation you suffered in the last game a result of you submitting to me so deeply? Wasn't it great when you had to sacrifice your back for the sake of my feet? Damn it. I thought I'd be able to keep things as they were as long as I didn't accept you. But it looks like that was wrong. Correct. The closer you get to surrendering, the more the game will swing in my favor. Isn't chess the same? In the process of cornering each other's kings, we trade several pieces. Of course, I still haven't cornered your king. And furthermore, you're giving it everything you've got just to help your king escape and have lost several pieces to me, as well as have a large advantage. It is only natural that further developments will tend to turn in my favor. Damn. From now on, you will probably be frantic as you try to avoid my checkmate. However, as you do, I will steal your pieces from you one by one. In the end, you will have lost everything but your king, and you won't be able to escape no matter how much you try. Then, you'll receive a true checkmate. You were talking big last time, weren't you? Something about how you'd never accept me and would torment me with eternal torture. Only witches who have reached the endless level can talk about eternity. That's been beyond you ever since the beginning. He's very shippable. You're right. Okay, I feel like this is a good place to stop. And we've officially reached the point where I have to overwrite my older saves. So that's neat. That's very cool. Cause yeah, episode 3 and we're still going, you know? That's awesome. I'm very, very happy that, no, it's definitely the perfect point to stop. Because the banter is going to be over for a while, and then there's going to be like the new bit, and next time all the drama will happen. Yeah. So, I mean, if I could, I would read until it's over, you know? No, dude, Lulu, please do not watch the anime. Please do not watch the anime, it's so bad. It's so bad, it's so bad. Don't do it. I mean, if you do, I refuse to apologize. I warned you. I warned you. Just hang in there for 1 week. That's all. Less than a week, even. And then we'll be back with another episode. And, in the meantime, enjoy the new end card that I made for this arc. And some music. I promise it. You know, we could do that. That sounds like fun, actually. It's gonna hurt so much. thank you. Yeah, I promise, just hang in there for 1 week. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Because again, this episode's really good. And yeah, no, it's just really good. And our boy's gonna be fine. And yeah. Yeah, okay. After officially the anime begins after no, the anime covers 1 to up to and including 4. So you would have to wait even longer than that. And again, it's bad. There will be suffering. I might cry. Not literally, but internally. Yeah. And not because it's sad, just because I'm so disappointed still, even now, years later. But I do think that would be like a fun thing to do. Maybe like a Discord watch party or something. Once we wrap up episode 4 maybe? That could be fun. Gosh, okay, yes. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna be back next week. I promise. And then, you know, you're gonna see what happens to our precious idiot boy battler. Thank you so much for watching. And have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. I'm sorry for the wait. I'm sure I believe in you. Hang in there. And see you next time.